Hello, sixth form students and parents. So this is Mr. Tyndall, and I'd like to welcome you all back officially to the new year, to the start of school. And I'm recording this video today just to make sure that, having been away from school for a long time, remember it was back on the 20th of March that we were last in school, to just make sure that everyone, parents and students alike, feel confident about what's going to be happening as we return to school, and just talk you through some of the changes in our new COVID related world that may have been in place, and things that you may see when you come back. Hopefully this is going to reassure you. We're looking forward to seeing everyone back next week, and if there are any questions at the end of this, as ever, we will be more than willing to take them and speak to you before school returns. So as you can see from our agenda, I'm going to talk through really what the different parts of the day are going to look like from the start of the day all the way to the end of the day. I'm going to think a little bit about what it's going to be like in lessons, returning and making sure we're all safe, talk about face coverings and return dates. I'd just like to start by sharing some really good news from the sixth form and from our school more widely. Here are some pictures of our lovely class of 2020 who, despite all of the anxieties and worries that this year has brought for them, and I'm sure you followed the news around results days, our A-level students did an amazing job. Our BTEC students did exactly the same as well. They came out not only with some fantastic grades, but most importantly, they secured themselves to a set of absolutely world-beating universities. And that is a testament both to the work of the staff in setting them up, but also to those students for taking the UCAS process so seriously, for aiming as high as possible to some brilliant universities, and making sure that their applications were so strong that despite the problems with grades, they secured some amazing results. And if you look at the names of some of the universities we've sent students to, Oxford, LSE, Bristol, Bath, UCL, Warwick, King's, Queen Mary University, I very much hope that our year 12 and 13 students have those universities in mind when they're working hard this year to achieve their outcomes. Okay, so let's begin with the start of the day. And this will happen at Bell Street for the first time. So rather than coming into Penfold Street, as we have done for many years now, we are going to enter the building at Bell Street. It's wider, it makes social distancing much easier, and it also means that our reception area is much more accessible and less stressful for people who are genuinely visiting or parents who are making inquiries at the school. So there is a staggered start time. Middle school, upper school and sixth form are starting at different times of the day to ensure that there isn't overcrowding. The sixth form time slot is between 8:20 and 8:30. There will be other year groups there. Some year groups have a slot from 8:15 to 8:25 and so on. But sixth form is 8:20 to 8:30. Anyone arriving after 8:30 will be marked late. As you arrive, and there's going to be a lovely video in a moment that you can watch to see how this will all work, but as you arrive to school, there will be a certain side of the gate, a funnel if you like, and Key Stage 5 students, sixth form students, will line up on one side. They will enter in a socially distanced manner, they will hand sanitize on entry, and really importantly, they will enter wearing a mask as well. Now, just to remind you around the guidance for mask cleanliness and mask hygiene, the masks should be new on when you enter the school. So for example, I get the tube to work in the morning. I should have a mask for the tube. When I get off the tube, I take that mask off, and then when I enter school, I put on a different mask just to make sure our hygiene is absolutely right. So we're having a clean, fresh mask as we enter the building. We put that mask on to show that we have the mask, the face covering for the day. If there are any problems, the student doesn't have a face covering for whatever reason, they should see a member of the senior leadership team on the school gate. And then as we enter the building, we're going to be hand sanitizing and going straight up to our form rooms. There will be water troughs on the entrance to the building as well. If we need to fill up any water, that should be done at this point. Okay, so I'm going to press play on this video now. I'm sure you can do that on your device as well. Just as we have beautifully modelled here, Miss Armitage and Miss Povey will give you an example of what the start of the school day might look like. Okay, so this is the new entrance to King Solomon Academy this year. It's on Bell Street. As you can see, it's nice and ready. And here we have two students ready for school. Okay, come on guys, in we come. So Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 will go into different funnels. As you enter the building, you'll put your mask on to show us that you've got your mask ready for the school day. Good morning, children. Morning. Lovely. You'll hand sanitize as you come in, and then you will walk into school ready for your learning for the day. Okay, and it's as easy as that. It's not a massive change. I think, what are you remembering about the start of the day? Different times for different small schools, making sure you've got a clean face mask with you, ready to hand sanitize and go straight up to your form room. Okay. Okay, so this is the new entrance to King Solomon Academy this year. It's on Bell Street. As you can see, it's nice and ready. And here we have two students ready for school. Okay, come on guys, in we come. So Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 will go into different funnels. As you enter the building, you'll put your mask on to show us that you've got your mask ready for the school day. Good morning, children. Morning. Lovely. You'll hand sanitize as you come in, and then you will walk into school ready for your learning for the day. Right, so what are the lessons going to look like? Lessons, and we're absolutely looking forward to having everyone back in school, I think is the first thing to say. As a teacher of economics myself, I just cannot wait to see the students and start learning in person. But we also need to recognise that our lessons are going to have to be slightly different to make sure we stay safe and to make sure that we can continue learning throughout the year. So every time we leave or enter a classroom, we're going to hand sanitize. You are welcome to bring your own hand sanitizer, but there will be a pump bottle of hand sanitizer at the front of the room. Students should come in, they will find their seat. There will be a seating plan for each classroom, as there always is. You come in with your mask. Masks can be removed as soon as we're sat down. We take off our mask, we store it safely in a mask case or a plastic bag to keep it clean. Masks do not need to be worn in classrooms. They can be if a student would like to. So if you want to keep on your mask, you are welcome to. Now, we can't move around the room as much as we normally would, both as teachers and as students as well. So teachers are going to have a box marked out at the front of the room, which is going to signify a safe distance, socially distanced amount of space away from students. We are going to aim to spend as much time as possible in that area to make sure that we are keeping socially distanced from the students. There will be a walkway down the middle of the room, so teachers will be able to walk up and down the room. They will, of course, still be able to answer questions from students in the class. They will still be able to move around a little bit, but we are going to predominantly teach from the front of the room. You need to be ready for the type of teaching this is going to mean. You're going to expect lots of questions from the front from your teachers. You're going to be doing a lot of partner work. You're going to be asking each other questions and learning from the person next to you. There's going to be an awful lot of models on the board. It will take a little bit of getting used to. It's nothing particularly strange or different, but it's going to be the way that we are safest in our classrooms. If there are any resources, they will be handed out in the safest way possible, with as few people touching them as possible, and anyone handing out resources will be asked to hand sanitize first. For sixth form, we will still run IST, independent study time, as usual, so that will be in a specific room. It will be run by a teacher. It will be in silence. We encourage you to bring in a laptop if you need to use an electronic device in IST. Again, with IST, there will be hand sanitizing as we come in and as we go out, and teachers will be socially distanced as well. Okay, the next slight change is the middle of the day. So break time would normally be a time when both Year 12 and Year 13 are together. We are going to be treating those 2 year groups as separate bubbles, so they are going to be having break time at different times. So as you can see here, year 12 break time will be between 10:25 and 10:40, very similar to what it was last year. Year 13, your break is going to be later on in the day, so it's going to be after period 3 rather than after period 2, and it's going to be 11:20 to 11:35. Sixth form students are going to have 2 spaces in which they can take break this year. There's going to be the common space, which is going to be slightly smaller than it was because we're moving into the new building in October half term, and in place of commons, the old commons area is going to be some staff work areas and classrooms. So there will be a common space. It will be kind of half the size it was. So students can also go down to an outdoor space, and they'll be guided through this when they come back, but it's basically the old infants playground. It's outside the new sixth form building. It's a nice space. There's lots of space there, lots of seating areas as well. So students can be either inside or outside. If they are inside, they must be wearing a mask, as they must do in all communal spaces inside. Outside, there is no requirement for a mask. The outside environment makes it a safer environment, but we will be monitoring social distancing. You are expected to maintain social distancing at all times, even if outside. Lunchtime. Lunch is going to now be had in the new sixth form building rather than in the old commons. So we're going to walk over there. It'll be a little bit of a walk, probably take us 2 or 3 minutes to get over there, but it's going to be in the old north building on the 2nd floor, which is going to be the new sixth form space. Lunch is going to be less of a buffet style than it has been. So unfortunately, due to the kind of health and safety issues around it, we aren't going to be able to operate the salad bar. Instead, we are going to have tables of 6. There's going to be hot food, the hot meal, along with a dessert. So that's going to be different. So we do get dessert in sixth form now rather than the salad bar. In tables of 6, again, there will be hand sanitizer on each table. Students will collect the food, serve, and take clear away tables. There will be one person designated to serve and to clear away tables, who will be hand sanitizing both times to make sure that there is not too much of a congregation at all in lunch. What I would say is lunch is the same times as ever. Year 12, 12:30 till 1. Year 13, 1:30 till 2. That's going to be quite a short time given our transition as well. So we're going to eat lunch. We're going to have a little bit of downtime, speak to our table partners. There isn't going to be able to be lots of movement around the lunch building and around the lunch area as traditionally there was. That's simply to make sure that we are socially distancing and to make sure that we are not coming into close contact with people too often. Okay. Face coverings are not expected at lunch. So in the lunch hall, because we're eating, we don't need to wear face coverings. But again, because we're not wearing face coverings, we can't have students mixing beyond their tables of 6. We will then put on our face coverings as we walk back from lunch back to class. Okay, and finally, the end of the day. So the good news for sixth form students is that they finish an hour earlier than the rest of the school. I would remind them at this time that they only finish an hour earlier if they've not been late to school and if all their work has been done on time and if there's been no behaviour instances. Students should expect to stay until 4 p.m. for a detention, and so any after school commitments, say they're picking up siblings, doing jobs after school, they need to expect to start them at 4 o'clock and not 3 o'clock should there be any issues at school. Okay, so we're going to run dismissal in form rooms between 2:50 and 3 p.m. And I should just mention we'll also have morning meeting as usual at the start of the day. Sixth form lessons will begin at 8:40 and they will finish at 2:50. Year 12 and Year 13 will be dismissed at 3 p.m. unless they're in detention or homework catch-up. And again, just as they came in through Bell Street, they will leave through Bell Street entrance and exit as well. Detentions will run either to 3:30 if there is a single instance of a detention, or a double will run till 4 p.m. Detentions for Year 12 and 13 will be kept separate. They won't do detentions together. One will be run by Miss Bristow, the head of Year 12, and one by Miss Munger, the head of Year 13. A final thing to say is, as we still do, any concerns or instances of praise may require us to have a meeting with parents. We still very much want to be contacting our parents as often as we always have done. You are still front and centre of your child's education. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to have large numbers of visitors, including parents, to school in person. If there is a need to have a parent meeting for a concern of any reason, academic behaviour or just general information, we will generally run those meetings over Teams. So a Teams invite will be sent to your email address. You will join it online, either on a laptop or on your phone. And we will have the student in school and they will join that meeting with us. So we will hold parent meetings virtually over Teams rather than in school. Okay, so I think I've said a lot about this already, but just to reiterate, face coverings are now an essential part of school, and as they are in many countries now, are just going to be standard in the school building. They should be black, blue or grey, and they should not have logos or kind of any clear writing on them. Both pupils and staff will be wearing face coverings in communal areas, and by that we mean areas where there may be a breaking of the bubble or bubbles are going to be mixing. So that will be any corridors, any toilets, the PE changing rooms, and also for sixth formers at break, in commons, and yeah, in and out of lessons. You take your mask off as you're seated in lesson. Face coverings can be worn in the classroom. There'll be no problem with that, and at lunchtime and break. But that is the student and the staff's members' choice. Okay, so when are we going to come back and actually learn about all of this in person? Well, Year 12 induction, as you should already know, begins on Monday the 7th of September, be in school for 8:45 a.m. Our induction will last for 2 days. It's going to be broad induction to sixth form as we do every year, and there's going to be more on how to stay safe in school. Year 13, we're going to have a single day of induction that will be on Wednesday the 9th of September. You need to arrive by 8:30 at the latest. That day will be more of the practicalities around staying safe in school and processing what's been happening over the last 6 months. And then we are going to get ready back to learning on Thursday the 10th of September, ready for our UCAS predicted grade exams, which we were all told about at the end of last term, and they begin on the 14th of September. Okay, so it just remains for me to say how excited I am to see you all back, and to say on behalf of all of your teachers how much we're looking forward to seeing you back in school, how much we are just looking forward to getting back on with learning, teaching you as well as we always have done, and getting you to those amazing destinations that we saw the class of 2020 go to. If there are any concerns or questions about safety in school, about how we're going to work at a time of coronavirus, please email any of these members of staff that you see on this slide now. Do reach out to any teachers and we'll be more than willing to give you a call and talk things through. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing Year 12 on Monday and Year 13 on Wednesday, and getting cracking with a lot of learning that's got to come this way this year. Okay, look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you very much.